So we're here at Lake Mead, the Hoover Dam actually, and I want you guys to see just how low the water level is. This is shocking, disturbing, and extremely alarming. The largest reservoir in the United States, which is responsible for supplying water to millions of people across 7 states, tribal lands, and northern Mexico, is now at the lowest water levels in its entire history. Lake Mead is currently at the lowest recorded water level in 85 years. Lake Mead was only this low when the reservoir was still being filled for the first time in April 1937. As of just a few days ago, Lake Mead was barely reaching 27% of its full capacity. The low water level comes at a time when 74% of 9 western states face some level of drought, and 35% of the area is an extreme or exceptional drought. It now also provides a stark illustration of climate change and a long-term drought that may be the worst in the U.S. West in 12 centuries. And the water elevation at the Hoover Dam is dropping too, where just recently recorded the Hoover Dam water level was 1,041 feet, or just 317 meters above sea level, where in comparison, the water elevation at the end of July in 2000 was 159 feet higher. Should lake levels at the dam fall below 1,000 feet, normal operation of the hydropower turbines will not be possible. Lake Mead, at maximum capacity, is capable of reaching an elevation of 1,220 feet, or 372 meters, near the dam, and would hold 9.3 trillion gallons, or 36 trillion liters of water. And the last time Lake Mead approached full capacity was in the summers of 1983 and also 1999. About 10% of the water in Lake Mead comes from the local precipitation and groundwater each year, with the rest coming from snowmelt in the Rocky Mountains that flows down the Colorado River watershed through Lake Powell, Glen Canyon, and the Grand Canyon. The Colorado River Basin is responsible for providing electric power and water to roughly 40 million people, most notably San Diego, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and 4 to 5 million acres of farmland across the Southwest. The river water is allotted to states, including tribal lands, and Mexico through laws like the 1922 Colorado River Compact. Above Lake Mead, Lake Powell is currently filled to just about 27% of its capacity, and the entire Colorado River system stands at 35%. The United States Bureau of Reclamation announced last year that state water allocations will be cut this year, and this past June, USBR issued an emergency request to the Colorado River Basin states to reduce water usage by 2 million to 4 million acre feet over the next 18 months. In addition to serving as a major drinking and irrigation source for the Southwest, Lake Mead is a national recreation area that is particularly popular with boaters. But drought conditions have left 5 of 6 boating ramp launches now closed indefinitely. Declining water levels due to climate change and 20 years of ongoing drought have reshaped the park's shorelines. And as Lake Mead continues to recede, extending launch ramps becomes more difficult and more expensive due to the topography and projected decline in water levels. And according to Water District Public Records and CBS News LA, some celebrities aren't playing by the rules that everyone is supposed to follow. Reporting that reality TV star Kourtney Kardashian, who lives in an $8 million home in Calabasas, which is listed under a trust, by the way, water records indicate the property has used 245% of its allocated water budget for the month of May. This marks the 4th consecutive month that it went over budget. Sylvester Stallone's $18 million mansion near Hidden Hills shows the Rocky Balboa star's wife is listed as the account holder and has used over 350% of its water budget for May. Howie Mandel's wife's water records show a 241% usage for the month of May, with many other celebrities topping the list for water consumption. The water district said the water supply condition is very dire. Although they impose penalties for anyone who exceeds 200% of their water budget for at least 2 months, they know that the conservation efforts are not a top priority for some, as money flows like water to them, no pun intended. Stating that for those customers who are very affluent and have lots of cash, financial penalties don't necessarily work. The water district is implementing a plan to help fight overusage and aid in water conservation by placing a small disc in the pipe at the water meter that cuts the flow of water down from 26 gallons a minute to much less, forcing people to conserve. This restricted flow would top out at about 1 gallon per minute, considerably less, and Kevin Hart has already received his restrictor plate or disc, as well as the Michael Jackson estate. Officials won't release the names, but some people actually tried to pay their way out, asking, how much would it cost for me to remove this disc? But the district refused. Ironically, environment activist Erin Brockovich made the list of celebrities in line for a restrictor because she has been using too much water. She is now installing artificial turf and drought-resistant plants to help reduce her water usage. A CBS LA investigative reporter even asked Brockovich, "You're known for environmental causes, yet you're on the list as a water offender." Meanwhile, in Arizona, drought shrivels Lake Powell and puts millions at risk of a power crisis. The water levels at Glen Canyon Dam have fallen lower than ever thought possible, possibly halting energy production completely. Alongside Nevada's Lake Mead, which you can see here behind me, Lake Powell is one of the 2 largest reservoirs in the nation spanning the Arizona-Utah border. These 2 lakes together provide a vital water supply to a combined 40 million people in the southwest parts of the United States. Lake Powell is also a major source of hydropower and produces cheap and clean energy for as many as 5.8 million homes and businesses across 7 states. Lake Powell is currently falling below 28% of its capacity and is putting the Glen Canyon Dam at risk. Earlier this year in March, the water levels fell below 3,535 feet for the very first time, which was considered a critical buffer to protect hydropower. And experts say if the lake drops just another 32 feet, the dam will no longer be able to generate power for the millions who rely on it. And the Bureau of Reclamation forecasts that even with significant proposed cuts to water allowances, there's a realistic chance that power production could halt at the dam. Surrounding states are battling over whatever water is available, and these fights are only set to intensify as drought problems continue. At the time of recording this video, there are reports that over 40 states are experiencing some form of drought. The states with severe to extreme drought include Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado, Kansas, Montana, Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. And I know that I'm gonna have to edit this video because I've had to put it together in multiple parts for the fact that my phone continuously overheated because of how hot it is here at Lake Mead. And this was not something that I even was prepared for. I didn't think my phone was gonna overheat. I use a lot of different equipment, different cameras and whatnot. And part of my research when I choose what type of equipment I'm going to use is, does it overheat? Typically you have issues with recording equipment, especially when you're trying to record 4K footage, and it does not like hot temperatures. It itself gets hot when recording, and then when you introduce it to a hot atmosphere, it just reduces your record time in general. But fortunately, we brought the van, which I didn't realize till just the other day. One of my favorite YouTube channels, Potato Jet, he's got a Mercedes van too. He's got a Revel. And today I realized just how valuable and important that van is to have to bring you guys this information. And one, for the fact that we were able to get down here. We didn't have to put it in 4-wheel drive, but we do have the ability and capability of putting the van in 4-wheel drive if need be to cross this terrain here. We're not going to get too close to the shore because we don't want to get stuck in any soft sand, but we were able to retreat to the van, some cooler temperatures, a restroom, clean restroom, and our refrigerator for some cold beverages. But I wanted to show you guys, well, first off, I want to ask you, have you seen, what have you seen? What have you experienced as far as drought and power consumption and water usage bans? And also, how do you feel about those who ignore the restrictions that are being implemented in an effort to conserve water and make sure that there's enough to go around for everyone? So comment below, let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you're experiencing. But I wanted to show you actual, literally, boots on the ground. Don't pay any attention to the socks. They're the only pair of socks I had. Boots on the ground here at Lake Mead, actually in my Solomons, which are unbelievably comfortable. And I did use them for a few long days on my feet with no issues whatsoever. So I'm very pleased with these boots, or these walking shoes or hiking shoes. But actual boots on the ground here at Lake Mead. I hope it's not too windy. I've got the mic here to try to block with the beard fur, as some people call it, to try to block this wind so it's not too bad on you guys for the audio. But there's boats out here. There's actually a houseboat over there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me zoom in and see if you guys can see this houseboat that's over here. And there's a lot of boats here that I can't believe. I don't know if these boats will leave the marina, if they'll leave these slips, or if they'll leave the docks because of how low the lake levels are. I mean, there's actually people. We saw people right there. You can see them. There's people that are like standing in the water. And you know, as you look around, you can see on the hillside there the difference in color where water levels used to be. And this is just it's just a clear sign. Like, and I don't know if this area here, actually where you see the van parked, was underwater because these restrooms are here, or if they just brought these down here recently because the levels are so low. But you guys, if y'all are familiar, if you guys visit Lake Mead, you know the area. If you're in Nevada or Arizona, let me know if this is normal to come down here and see it like this. This is unbelievable. And hopefully something can be done to provide an alternative source of power, because I don't see this lake level coming up anytime soon, or at least fast enough to prevent catastrophe.